After I died, I became the cat of my arch-nemesis. He doted on me excessively, buying me a set of pet communication buttons. Whenever I pressed a paw pad, a mechanical voice would declare, "I'm hungry. Litter box full. Want treats." He tirelessly trained me, but I deliberately frustrated him by mashing buttons randomly. Yet on my death anniversary, I found him drunkenly sobbing before my photo, repeatedly confessing his regrets and longing. He even said he loved me. "I love you too." His head snapped toward me. I slammed my paw, the mechanical voice echoing, "I love you too." I'd secretly loved Ryan for 10 years. But he became obsessed with Sophia, my long-lost sister who suddenly returned. What did that country bumpkin have that I didn't? I followed the classic villainous playbook, drugging him and sneaking into his hotel room. The plan worked perfectly, until dawn revealed my bed partner's face. The man resembled Ryan but bore a blood-red mole on his nose. We both screamed in horror. "Where's Sophia?" he demanded. This would have been a triumphant plot twist in any revenge novel. Tragically, we weren't protagonists. After staring dumbly, we realized our schemes had backfired spectacularly. The door burst open as Sophia arrived with our parents. Fake tears glistening. "See? Ethan never wanted me." That's how I learned this was Ethan Smith of the Smith family, Ryan's elder brother. Sophia's childhood betrothed. Rumor said Ethan despised his uncouth fiancée since her return. But I saw the truth: he secretly yearned for her. Destined for some cliché chase your wife subplot. The fallout? Our families forced me to replace Sophia in the Taylor-Smith marriage alliance. Better embarrassing than broken promises. They said. Bullshit. Ethan was everything I hated. He called me a poisonous social climber. I dubbed him a scheming crocodile. Our 5-year marriage became endless warfare. Whenever I tried catching Ryan's attention, Ethan would sneer, "Ivy, your worst flaw isn't being wicked, it's being stupidly wicked." Whenever he scowled and acted jealous over Sophia, I'd grin and lean closer. "Need a mirror? Your clown nose is practically glowing." Others have pure love stories, ours was pure spite. Until the year Sophia experienced every CEO romance heroine's rite of passage, kidnapping. At 3 a.m., Ethan left without hesitation. I sneered like always, "Relax. Hero, this isn't your scene." He shot me a glare while buttoning his shirt. "Ivy, got any decency? That's your sister." My temper flared. "And you're Mr. Morality? You married me." His hands froze on the cufflinks. I laughed bitterly. "What sweet words do you want, Ethan? Hope you two live happily ever after?" Something fractured in his gaze, disappointment. Maybe regret. Maybe the midnight haze made me reckless. "If I were the one dying tonight, would you care?" His answer never came. He vanished into the night only to walk into a trap. The clumsiest bait and switch. Sophia was perfectly safe, cozy in Ryan's mansion. By the time Ethan realized, his Porsche was already screaming down the highway. Too late. I'm Ivy. Mostly dead. When I twitched my new whiskers, the meow that came out nearly killed me again. Stumbling to a murky puddle, I saw white paws and a soot-streaked face, the stray cat I'd fed daily. Cold dread clawed my gut. However this happened, I'd starve within hours. 7 days without food. Because I'd been missing 7 days. As I debated begging neighbors, scruffy fur got yanked upward. My feline mouth spat curses before registering Ethan's face inches from mine. He studied me intently. "I know you," he murmured. "Ivy used to feed you." My angry muse died. He remembered. Calloused hands awkwardly cradled my bony frame. His shirt smelled like bergamot and gunpowder. "She's gone," he told the trembling creature in his arms, not knowing those words shattered 2 hearts at once. "He called you Chocho." Huh? What a dumb name. Normally, I should scratch him. But somehow, when he said that, He seemed quietly sad. I kindly licked his hand. His slender fingers gently scratched behind my ears as he sighed, "My house feels so empty and cold, I dread going back. Keep me company. Okay?" "No way. I've had enough of you." I growled and bit his wrist. Scrambling out of his arms. Though still clumsy in this body, move. Stupid legs. Run. If I escape, my cat life will, wait, meow? Mew mew mew? I skidded to a halt. Why does my human consciousness fade the farther I get from Ethan? I took a cautious step back. Suddenly, all my curses toward Ethan flooded back clearly. So if I stray too far, I become just a regular cat? His footsteps closed in behind me. Seeing that detestable face approach, death seemed preferable. Better be a cat than endure him. Human. Cat life is freedom. I arched my back and leapt toward the neighborhood gate. My destiny lies beyond. My scruff got yanked midair. Trying to escape? Ow wow. Damn Ethan. I'll murder you someday. I never knew Ethan adored cats this much. He spoils me rotten, luxury cat trees. Premium canned food. Litter changed thrice daily. Boxes of toys pile up. Many discarded unopened. He even bought me absurdly expensive lifetime pet insurance. When Sophia and Ryan visited, they gaped at his extravagance. Ryan tried intervening but Sophia stopped him. I heard her whisper, "He's just grieving." Meow. Grieving? Ethan? For me? Skeptical. I rubbed against Ryan's leg seeking justice. Ethan's icy laugh cut through, just like her cat, exactly like her. I awkwardly froze mid-movement. Seriously, dude? You're jealous of a cat? Wait, he's actually jealous of me? The next second, I was scooped into Ethan's arms. My vision darkened. Buddy. Use your words. Your cat-holding technique sucks. My tail. You're crushing my tail. Ethan. You jerk. I yowled and squirmed, nearly scratching him. He tightened his grip like I might bolt to Ryan. Our ridiculous human-cat standoff lasted until Sophia awkwardly suggested, "I've seen those pet communication buttons online. Maybe Mittens could learn them?" I meowed weakly. Bless you, Sophia. Forget our past, you're now the patron saint of cats. Ethan lifted me to eye level. Talking? My tail twitched hopefully. He tilted his head. Sounds fun. But she'd probably roast me. Ethan bought the deluxe button set anyway after Ryan casually mentioned. My border collie mastered these months ago. The entire room became a button obstacle course. Was this language training or feline CrossFit? Every night, he'd patiently guide my paw. This is hungry. This is thirsty. This means clean my litter. Yeah. And this means your brain needs cleaning. Only my human comprehension saved us from eternal failure. Try. He urged. I deliberately mashed random buttons. You're hopeless. He sighed. I extended my claw. F. You. He frowned. I blinked innocently, meow. Then he shoved my old sweater under my nose. Find her scent. Girl. Where is she? My heart clenched. He'd been searching for me all along, but where was my real body? But why are you coming to me about this? I should be napping. Go find a dog instead. All I'm good for is devouring cans. If you want solutions, go bother your brother Ryan's talkative border collie. Sure. I can't speak. But I bet he's already reading the absolute filth in my glare. Ethan reached out to smooth my fur. The moment his hand lifted, my hackles rose higher. For the first time, his eyes dimmed with something like dejection. You really despise me. Though he was staring straight at me, the words felt directed at someone else. Someone who wasn't this version of me. I sighed. Fine. The mighty shall be merciful. I'll humor you. Rolling onto my back. I blinked lazily. Well? Get scratching this premium belly fluff. He didn't budge. I cranked up the charm with a high-pitched trill. His face went sheet white as he dialed his phone. Doc. My cat's belly is making noises and she keeps rolling over. Is she dying? Abort mission. Flirting with a brick wall gets old. Trapped but not defeated. I settled into my gilded cage. Strangers praised my healing presence within weeks. Ethan's recovering so well because of her. They'd whisper. I nearly choked on my own tail laughing. These people knew the truth. His indifference wasn't recovery, it was apathy. Our marriage had always been a dumpster fire. Even as a human, I'd burned through every shred of hope long before becoming this fluffy mess. The man's emotional range rivaled a toaster's. Not that it mattered now. Being his cat came with perks, premium kibble, toys, unsupervised laptop access for gaming marathons. The only reminder of my past life came through the butler's daily call, sir. Still no trace of Mrs. Smith. Ethan would hang up without blinking. Same script for 365 days. Until today, when the butler added, it's been a year. Shall we stop looking? At that moment, I was lying on his lap licking my paws. Hearing his words, I rolled my eyes. A whole year had passed if there was any chance of finding it. We would have discovered it long ago. The truth was he never genuinely wanted to search for it in the first place. Ethan was probably just waiting for this convenient excuse. Surprisingly, his voice sounded slightly strained when he insisted, we'll keep looking. I sighed internally. Great. He wasn't done playing the grieving widower act yet. His cold fingers absently stroked my head. Be good now. I've got work. The movement made my feline eyes instantly focus on something clinging to his finger. Meow. I helpfully nudged him with my paw. His hand stilled as both our gazes locked onto the strand wrapped around his left ring finger, a long, wine red, chemically treated hair. Ivy's signature hairstyle. I remembered that drunken night when he'd suddenly complimented my sleek black hair, only for me to turn and see Sophia's identical cascading locks. The next morning, I dyed mine burgundy and styled it in wild waves, deliberately wearing crimson silk as I awaited his return. Do I look nice? He'd stared for 3 full seconds before choking out, like some seductress. I'd kept the color ever since. Now, exactly 1 year after my death, this strand clung stubbornly to his finger. Long hair sheds constantly, heaven knew when I'd lost this particular piece. Ethan chuckled darkly. Flicking his hand, the strand held. He shook harder. Still attached. When he raised his hand for the 3rd attempt, I considered offering to slice it off with my claws. But then he covered his eyes mid-motion, my paw freezing midair in disbelief. Holy hell, were those tears? A warm, salty droplet hit my nose. I watched in stunned silence as silent weeping escalated into body-shaking sobs. Curled awkwardly in his arms, my feline mind reeled. However improbable, the evidence suggested he might actually miss me. The longer I existed as this cat, the more my human memories faded. Yet that night when Ethan shattered, I dreamed vividly of our final married year for the first time in months. That year, my health kept deteriorating. I was practically living at the hospital every other day, too exhausted to keep arguing with him. He avoided home like the plague, treating me like some cursed creature. Whenever I got hospitalized during flare-ups, he'd disappear for days as if fearing contamination from my misfortune. Just vanished off the face of the earth. My disappointment in him grew until our interactions dwindled to sparse exchanges. Don't wait for me for dinner. Okay. Not coming home tonight. Okay. Business trip tomorrow. Okay. Then one day, those dull chat bubbles suddenly floated a new message. I love you. My first reaction was bitter laughter. Wrong recipient? Want me to forward this to Sophia? But later, the hospital called. Ethan had been in a car accident. I don't know why my heart raced wildly as I drove there. Only after he came out of emergency surgery did my panic subside. The crash wasn't fatal, but left him with moderate concussion. The doctor said it might cause temporary memory confusion that should resolve in months. I assumed memory confusion meant he'd forget me. But when he opened his eyes, his gaze locked directly on me. Amused, I asked, "Do you know who I am?" His bandaged head tilted slowly as he blinked. "The person I like." Great. Now he's mistaking identities. The thought of his future embarrassment after regaining memories energized me. "Then why don't you look happier seeing me?" He bit his lip, voice dropping. "You don't like me. At least you know Sophia doesn't like you." I teased. "Why not try harder? Maybe I'll be moved." What began as mischief met his solemn nod. "Okay." I nearly choked, suppressing laughter. If he ever realized he directed all that love-struck devotion meant for Sophia at me, he'd turn green with rage. Those days became our closest approximation to married life. He followed my every word, yielding to all requests. Even when I snapped at him, not a single frown appeared. On our rare anniversary night spent sharing drinks past midnight, his arm lightly encircled my shoulders. I relaxed into his embrace. After strange prolonged silence, he awkwardly ventured, "I thought you'd push me away." The comment made me slightly guilty. True, Sophia would never initiate such intimacy. But the position felt too comfortable to abandon. "Consider this a reward for good behavior lately," I fabricated. He raised an eyebrow imperceptibly. "Reward?" I turned to face him abruptly. "Don't like it?" His warm yet ambiguous smile made my heartbeat accelerate. "Not enough." I shot him a sidelong glance. Greedy devil. Yet the intoxicating night seemed to lower my inhibitions. Even if being Sophia's stand-in made me nauseous, his smile remained devastatingly attractive. Truthfully, Ethan had always possessed that radiant smile. He simply rarely directed it at me. Between the alcohol haze and his cognitive condition, who would remember anyway? As I clumsily wrapped my arms around his neck when he lifted me, drunken words spilled out. My slurred voice murmured, "Ethan, what's so special about me that you'd go this far? What does Sophia have that I don't?" His gravelly response came, "Your sharp tongue hides tenderness. And those claws of yours leave marks, like a temperamental cat." Before I could process how Sophia supposedly scratched people, the only scratch marks on Ethan's neck came from our fights. His relentless kisses scattered my thoughts. I knew I should push him away. Yet my traitorous limbs turned leaden. Noticing my half-hearted resistance, he chuckled darkly. When our eyes met again, his gaze burned with barely restrained hunger, pure seduction. No words needed. His eyes taunted, "Admit it. You've wanted this." Sudden bitterness choked me. After years of marriage, this raw passion I'd never witnessed before wasn't meant for me. Worse yet, he wasn't wrong. Pathetic exhilaration surged through me. Darker still, I craved more of that burning attention. Just a moment longer. Thankfully, his memory lapses made deception easier. When he occasionally noticed oddities, why no wedding photos? Or why separate bedrooms? My flimsy excuses somehow satisfied him. He'd simply watch me fabricate stories with that enigmatic smile until I squirmed. "What's so funny?" I'd challenge. He'd lean in with that heart-stopping grin, "Just realizing how breathtaking you look tonight." That infuriating charm always worked. I often marvel at how lucky that brat Sophia is. To have two men so devoted to her, each moment a display of peacock feathers. But on the other hand, she might not be winning every advantage. After all, she probably doesn't realize what kind of deliciously complex man she's missing out on, someone who's all brooding shadows and calculated charm beneath the surface. Ethan appears all restrained indifference in public, but privately? The man holds nothing back. Before I could react, Ethan had already hoisted me onto the kitchen counter with one arm. My fragmented protests dissolved into muffled sounds as his lips found mine. What are you doing?" I managed between kisses. "It's broad daylight." He tilted his head back, angelic innocence radiating from those clear eyes. "My neck gets sore bending down to kiss you." The teasing grin breaking through his composed mask betrayed him completely. What exactly were you thinking? HM? His resulting yelp when I tickled retaliation made the crystal chandelier tremble. Perhaps fate truly favored me. Whenever nearing exposure's precipice, some serendipitous interruption would preserve our fragile fiction. What I failed to understand then was how few accidents exist in this calculated world. I played house with desperate conviction, clinging to this dream where I wasn't forever eclipsed by my sister, where I could choose whom to love and be loved abundantly in return. Maybe it was how convincingly Ethan played his part that fed my dangerous arrogance. I became certain our shared moments would outweigh any revealed truth. In retrospect, my greatest mistake crystallized here, that fatal human flaw of reaching beyond one's grasp. On Ethan's birthday, I presented the cake with theatrical flair, belting out off-key celebratory lyrics. As he closed his eyes to make a wish, the question escaped me, "Ethan, if you discovered I'd deceived you, would you forgive me?" His eyelashes fluttered open in confusion. What? Leaning down until our noses almost touched, I stared into those fathomless eyes. If I told you I'm not the longtime crush you pined for, but actually the rival you reluctantly married, would you hate me? The flickering candlelight carved shadows across his frozen expression. My pulse thundered in my ears as I awaited judgment. This should have been our stagnant marriage's pivotal moment. Instead, I witnessed something inexplicable: Ethan's Adam's apple bobbing convulsively, his lips trembling as if wrestling invisible chains. "Ethan." My voice quivered. A harsh cough tore from his throat, followed by crimson splatter across the birthday cake's pristine frosting. The macabre scene froze me in terror. As I scrambled to call for help, his bloodied hand gripped my wrist with surprising strength. Ivy, his eyes burned brighter than the guttering candles, holding secrets I couldn't begin to decipher. I was overjoyed. Before I could fully grasp the meaning of his words, everything suddenly went dark. Crimson letters hovered in my vision, frowny face, character behavior deviating from established settings detected. Failure to self-correct will result in causal factor elimination by the system. Ivy. Since meeting Ethan, I'd often mocked myself for living like a stereotypical villainess. I loved my brother-in-law. He loved his sister-in-law. Our forced marriage had turned into mutual loathing worthy of daytime drama, making us pathetic side characters whose suffering existed solely for audience entertainment. Then I discovered I truly was a scripted antagonist. My fate dictated endless clashes with Ethan and unrequited longing for Ryan. Should I develop forbidden feelings for anyone other than Ryan, the system would eliminate whoever tempted me. The last person this should apply to was Ethan. Yet here we were. During those endless seconds in the system's void, I'd trembled while demanding, "Am I doomed to be hated? Don't I deserve to love or be loved?" The system finally responded, "Frowny face, you may. Provided you accept, the more affection you show, the faster he dies." The darkness lifted, revealing Ethan's pale face in our dim bedroom. His gaze softened. "You chose tonight to confess because you have feelings for me?" My breath caught, admitting it would kill him. I pulled away, hiding my turmoil behind a hollow laugh. "Ethan, you actually believed that? How could I ever love you?" The saying goes, those embroiled in drama see least clearly. If my deviations triggered system warnings, others must too. If my rebellion endangered him, what if he rebelled first? Why had I grown mysteriously ill during our 3rd year of marriage? Precisely when he started avoiding me? When he later mistook me for Sophia during his amnesia, why had he sent that cryptic message before his accident? Most tellingly, he hadn't feared my potential confession on his birthday. Cold realization crept over me. Eliminating impossibilities left one terrifying conclusion: Ethan was courting death. Because he'd fallen for me first. So he received the warning sooner. If he loved me, I would die. Our relationship existed in precarious equilibrium. Only through mutual resentment could we maintain fragile balance. Yet human hearts aren't fields to be harvested. Even the sharpest blade can't eradicate stubborn roots. Though he kept retreating, my health continued deteriorating. Thus he made a decision. A heart that stops beating can't feel affection. That's why he orchestrated the car accident. The cryptic message had originally been his suicide note to me. The reason he survived remains unclear to him. But I suspect I know. Perhaps because I still hated him then. Ironically, my hatred became his salvation. Whether Ethan's later amnesia was genuine or feigned, he successfully deceived the system. For a time, he even deceived me. Every kindness he showed me was dismissed as mistaken identity. But such pretense couldn't last. His first plan became making me confess affection. My verbal admission would trigger his erasure while securing my safety. Yet at the critical moment, my acting skills prevailed. I twisted my words with mocking satisfaction, as if our entire relationship had been elaborate theater. The disappointment in his eyes left me wondering, was he lamenting his survival or my indifference? Afterward, our dynamic regressed to its former bitterness. Worse than before. In the past, this would have fueled my resentment. Now I suddenly understood the more fiercely we performed our mutual contempt, the more we revealed our reluctance to hurt each other. I know he's formulating another plan. A scheme to ensure my absolute safety from his unpredictable free will. A justifiable exit strategy. Like, staging a kidnapping. Playing the hero rescuing his scripted soulmate. Then fatally miscalculating the danger. Fitting the narrative. Perfectly logical. Ethan, if I were the one dying tonight, would you worry this much? He froze when I asked. Had the moonlight been brighter, he might have seen my glistening eyes. Truthfully, I'm terrified of death. I never understood why you chose such foolish self-sacrifice. If the system demands mutual hatred, let's perform it. Why not act our entire lives? But I've since realized true affection can't be concealed. Even if we silence our lips, it spills from our eyes. Those days of explosive arguments would abruptly dissolve into weighted silence. Our performative malice faltered during lingering eye contact. Even the word hate began sounding like forbidden tenderness. I suddenly saw our ending clearly. Since one of us must die, I hoped the one who would live to complete the storyline and escape this world would be you. Not because I'm virtuous, quite the opposite. I'm cowardly. The survivor would endure endless suffering alone, with no one to confide in, facing lifelong loneliness. And I'm rather pain-averse. Ethan set the trap, and I merely adjusted it slightly. The kidnapping target shifted from Sophia to myself. No hero would come rescue the villainess who deserved retribution. No one would save me out of hatred either. Thus I should have died smoothly. Yet my soul drifted briefly into a cat's body. This temporary vessel couldn't last. My memories as Ivy faded until only my hatred for Ethan remained. Though I forgot why it wasn't absolute. On the first anniversary of my death, everything rushed back. When do people suddenly awaken from endless oblivion? My feline instincts forced my eyes open. The living room held movement. This morning, Ethan had collapsed over strands of my hair, burning with fever all day. I hadn't understood then why theatrics over mere hair. Now I realize he'd been grieving endlessly. Perhaps he'd spent sleepless nights retracing missteps, finding no answers. Maybe he arrived too late, still causing my death. Or perhaps I'd tried saving him. But how could I want to save him? He'd never dare believe it. So he'll forever dwell in shadowed guilt. Nightly anguish inescapable. Suddenly I understood why I hadn't fully departed this world. Padding silently from my cat bed, I entered the dimly lit parlor. A single candle flickered as his trembling back faced me. Choked whispers repeating, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Shaking my head to stay conscious, this lucidity meant final moments. With a soft meow, I caught his attention. Those clouded eyes turned as I leaped onto the dusty control panel. Under his astonished gaze, I pawed the illuminated letters, "I love you." He froze, doubting reality, sanity, perhaps both. After a long moment, he stumbled to his feet but seemed too weak to stand. I couldn't wait any longer. I stared directly into his eyes. One last look. Just one more glance. He staggered to his knees before me. His voice emerged hoarse and trembling when he spoke. Syllables slurring. Ivy? I gently licked the tip of his nose. That final message he'd sent before his death years ago, I never thought I'd get to respond. Until today. The mechanical female voice emotionlessly announced for the last time. Clear and resonant enough to create phantom echoes in the empty living room. I love you, too. I'd harbored feelings for Ryan for 10 years. Yet he preferred Sophia, who'd suddenly reappeared after years missing. So I drugged him and sneaked into his hotel room at midnight. Drunken passion leading to love, that's how all the stories went. But when I opened the door, an unfamiliar man sat on the bed. He resembled Ryan 80%. Except for the blood-red mole on his nose bridge. He was calmly stroking a kitten in his arms. Ivy. Long time no see. As I thought I'd entered the wrong room. Crimson text suddenly materialized, frowny face, plot deviation warning, immediate world ejection enforced. I'd crushed on Ryan for 5 years while he remained indifferent. Yet again I eagerly followed my parents to the Smith residence. But couldn't find Ryan anywhere. Suddenly commotion erupted outside. A man bearing 70% resemblance to Ryan but with a completely different aura entered hurriedly. The adults gasped, "Weren't you overseas? What brings you back?" The stranger ignored them, locking eyes with me in the crowd. I retreated fearfully. He leaned down with a soft chuckle, "Found you." As I opened my mouth to respond, darkness swallowed me. Plot deviation warning, immediate world ejection enforced. 3 years I'd lingered outside Ryan's classroom, pretending to wait for him. Left my umbrella home on purpose to borrow his. Yet he avoided me constantly. His friends equally hostile. Never got to speak. Head lowered in the rain. I suddenly noticed Ryan getting lectured by an unfamiliar man near school gates. The stranger shared some features with him. Approaching, I heard Ryan call him brother. When I tried slipping away silently, the man abruptly stopped me. "Ivy. Where do you think you're going?" Plot deviation warning, immediate world ejection enforced. Today my parents first took me to the Smith family gathering. The adults' conversation bored me stiff as I swung my legs restlessly on the sofa. "Mrs. Smith affectionately ruffled my hair. "Ivy bored? Ryan's right upstairs. Go find," before the words fully left her mouth. A clear voice rang from the doorway. "Mom. I'll keep the little one company." I turned to see a boy significantly older than me standing there. Aunt Smith seemed momentarily surprised. Chuckling. "You're so much bigger than her. Don't scare the child." The stranger crouched to my eye level. His gentle smile belying his words, "She won't be frightened." Suddenly darkness swallowed my vision. Crimson symbols swirling before me. Though illiterate, I felt the world tilt violently. Just as consciousness threatened to slip away, a firm grip steadied my hand. Blinking tremulously, I found my parents and the Smith estate vanished. Endless void surrounded us, and this unfamiliar boy. His expression had hardened. Youthful awkwardness replaced by adult resolve. His words meant nothing yet everything, since we're cornered. Let's be clear. However many times you reset this, I won't change. Can't. His grip turned punishing. Yet his voice remained steady as carved stone. "If your broken narrative demands our sacrifice," the scarlet characters flickered angrily, twisting into chaotic patterns that somehow radiated profanity. Shrinking against him, I whispered, "Ethan, I'm scared." His eyes softened as he lifted me. Those strangers. His embrace felt like coming home. Those dark eyes shone with peculiar joy at my presence. "I'm Ivy Brown," I ventured. "What's your name?" The void dissolved. Sunlight bathing us in golden afternoon warmth. Sunset gilded his eyes to warm amber. His gaze holding only me. "Ethan Smith." Tilting my head, I asked, "Can I come play with you sometime?" His eyes bloomed with conflicted emotions, sorrow and elation warring. After what seemed an eternity, he nodded firmly. Always.